Hey man, say man, it's your boy J-Man back at it again with a brand new video. You know the vibes, back at it again with part 2 on my NBA playoff breakdown. Basically, I'm gonna break off the Western Conference now. Let's get straight to it, bro. Alright, so first, another game just happened today. Utah versus Dallas. The series is currently tied 1-1 right now. I had the series going to around 6 anyways, 6 to 7 anyways. To be honest, I still have Dallas winning the series if Luka Doncic can find a way to come back before game 4. I think, honestly, at this point, Luka might come back game 4 because now that Dallas stole a game, Luka doesn't really have to rush to get back. Well, they didn't steal a game. They defended home court. So they did their job. They lost the game. They go to Utah. The problem is, can they win the game at Utah? That's more the concern. But in terms of how the series is going to be break down, I think it's going to be more of a defensive series. Yes, this game, it was like 110 to 104, I believe. But that's still a relatively low score in this generation of the NBA. The first game was in the 90s. I don't know exactly Dallas's field goal percentage this game because I didn't really. It was on NBA TV, and I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of work for me to go on NBA streams. By the way, if you do not have access to any of these games, go search up NBA streams Reddit, and it's NBA streams.xyz. That's how you get access to them. But that's not the point. Basically, I don't know how Utah's gonna hold up when Luka comes back. Because Utah, I'm sorry, I don't have faith in Utah. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna just say it so you don't have to say it. I don't have faith in Utah. I just think that this nucleus that they have of letting Donovan Mitchell take 25 plus shots and letting Rudy Gobert barely get any touches, and having Bojan Bogdanovic just try and shoot the lights out the ball, and hoping Jordan Clarkson has a good game. Those aren't guys you can really rely on. You need an actual scoring option. Like, yeah, you got Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, but you need somebody else that's actually a star-level player alongside of them to actually have a chance of winning an actual championship. I mean, the past 3 years, they've had expectations, and they've just underperformed since. 17-18 was when they peaked. They beat the Thunder in the first round, then they lost to the Rockets in the second round. Next year, they play the Rockets in the first round, lose in the first round. If I'm correct, right? Yeah. Yep. They lost in the first round. And then you got the year after, the bubble year. They lose. They were up 3-1. They blew a 3-1 lead to Denver. Last year, they made it past the first round. They beat a young Grizzlies team in 5 games. And then you were up 2-0, and you don't win another game against the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard for half of the series. So I just don't see how this Utah team can find a way to get out the first round. I just think at this point it is what it is, and I feel like Utah just ran its course. But they still have a chance to win since Luka isn't playing. They still have a very strong chance. If Luka doesn't come back, I still think they're going to win the series. If Luka comes back, I think they're going to lose that series. Other than that, let's get to the next series. This is probably going to be the most entertaining series in the Western Conference. Minnesota versus Memphis. I will say it is insanely disrespectful. Let me zoom in so I can say this to the NBA. It is insanely disrespectful that you're putting the most entertaining series on NBA TV and it's not globally able to be watched by everyone in the world. It should be a TNT game. I'm sorry. This series is way too entertaining to put it on NBA TV and have only a select few amount of people be able to watch the game. But this series is gonna go to at least 6 to 7 games, at least. This is gonna be mainly predicated on, can Minnesota find a way to keep Ja out the paint? Because last game, in the first half, Ja was getting into the paint a lot. In the second part of the game, Ja Morant, I believe, shot 2 for 12 in the second half. So he finished 8 for 18 after starting 6 for 7. But yeah, it's going to be mainly predicated on, can you keep Ja out the paint for Minnesota? And also on Memphis' side, I don't think Steven Adams is really playable. I think he doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with Karl-Anthony Towns. I think you have to put Jaren Jackson at that center lineup, even though Jaren Jackson's a relatively small big man. But he's not small. I mean, he is 6'9", 6'10", so he's not relatively small, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't think Steven Adams is playable. This has happened to Steven Adams multiple times, to where some series he just becomes unplayable in some cases. I mean, he played 26 minutes and had 3 rebounds. Like, you can't be 7 foot and only have 3 rebounds and play 26 minutes of play. That's unacceptable for Steven Adams, who averaged 10 rebounds and 4 offensive during the regular season. Like, you're gonna have to perform. You're gonna at least get your average. That's, for me in the playoffs, at least get your average. At least get your average. So if you average 10 points and 10 rebounds, get 10 points and get 10 rebounds. I would love for you to give me 15 and 13 now since it's the playoffs, but if you can just give me 10 and 10, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. But I mean, Jaren Jackson has to stay under control. I mean, he lost his temper a couple of times. He got in foul trouble. You could tell it was kind of bothering him in game 1. I feel like he has to know the game, and he just has to, you know, just, the game will play out. You just have to let the game play out, if that makes sense, you know? And then, you know, Memphis is going to have to find a way to disrupt Anthony Edwards and get Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble. The one that seems more realistic is getting Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble. Because Karl-Anthony Towns, if I'm correct, averaged around 3.5 fouls a game during the regular season. So he's known to pick up around 3 to 4 fouls a game and get in foul trouble. So if you can get him in foul trouble with John Morant driving to the paint, ideally that's what you would want to do. I just don't see that really happening because in the playoffs, refs tend to swallow the whistle a little bit more and let the players play. But it's going to be a very grimy series. Originally, I did have Memphis winning, but after watching game 1, I just think Minnesota has too much firepower for them. I just think when you have Anthony Edwards, they don't have anybody to guard Anthony Edwards. So, yeah, they have DeLon Brooks, but DeLon Brooks has to swap guarding between him, Malik Beasley, and D'Angelo Russell. Like, that's a lot to ask for. I feel like in order for Memphis to win this series, DeLon Brooks and Desmond Bane are going to have to step up majorly. Both of them are going to have to get at least 20 apiece. Ja's going to have to get at least 25 a night. Jaren Jackson's going to have to get at least 20 points, 20 to 15 points. He's going to have to be scrappy on the defensive end. And even with that, I mean, Minnesota's known to score the ball. Like, they scored the most points this year. They led the whole league in points scored. So they're known to put the ball in the bucket. So you have to score with them. So you have to meet their firepower. And D'Angelo Russell didn't have a good game 1. I doubt that D'Angelo Russell is gonna have another game where he has 5 points through 3 quarters of play. I just strongly doubt that. Anthony Edwards just picked up his play at the right time. He finished the season strong, so he's going into the postseason with his rhythm and flow. Karl-Anthony Towns had a great year up and down. Just had 62 months ago, so you know he's feeling fantastic. And yeah, you know, series is going to be very entertaining. I will say that. Very entertaining. On to the next series. Okay, now here's one that, if you ask me, this might be the talk of the whole playoffs. Golden State and Denver. I anticipate Golden State at this point to sweep them. I'm anticipating a sweep or Denver losing in 5. Because I just feel like Denver's going to have a meltdown. Because I just feel like prime example, I'm watching game 2 right now, and the game's getting out of control. So just like, remember when I made a video when the Pelicans and everything got out of hand. By the way, the Pelicans did come back. I'm about to talk about them in a second. This series, just watching them, like, I feel like Denver's caring too much about the foul calls. Jokic is complaining about foul calls a lot. He just seems on edge this series, and the last time he was on edge against Phoenix, he got swept. I just feel like Denver just doesn't have enough firepower to keep up with Golden State. Golden State is a great team. They have that lineup that they ran today with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green. Like, that's a switch everything lineup. Not switch everything, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's a lineup to where they have great team defense. So literally, yeah, you can attack the mismatches, but their rotations are so crisp to where, yeah, you're trying to get a one-on-one to get by that guy and pass it out to another guy, but those rotations are so crisp that they're gonna take you out that set. They're gonna take you out of that. Like, you're not gonna get a look that you want. The look ideally that you would want to get, you're just not gonna get with them. And I just feel like Jokic doesn't have somebody else that's gonna step up. And I believe I watched Ball Don't Stop. Ball Don't Stop put out a video talking about Denver. And I agree. I feel like Mike Malone didn't give anybody this season the offensive freedom to become that second option or another scorer. I feel like he was mainly banking on Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray to come back. And And yeah, I mean, Will Barton stepped up. He did his stuff. Bone Highlands had a big role, but I just feel like in terms of they don't have another guy that can get 20 on a nightly basis. And against Golden State, you need to do that. Because, I mean, Jokic is mainly the #1 guy there, and everybody else is just a bunch of role players just waiting for Jokic to give them the ball so they can play good basketball. And then, I mean, if Jordan Poole is going to average, Jordan Poole's, of course, not going to get 30 points on 13 shots every night, but if Jordan Poole can get 20 plus on solid efficiency, and he's getting in the flow of the offense, and he's breaking down the defense and getting good looks for other guys as well, same thing for Steph and Clay, that's gonna be a very hard team to beat and very hard team to compete with. And everybody knows. Everybody knows. Since 2015, there's this thing called the Warriors Blitz. When that blitz happens, there's nothing you can do. When that blitz happens, there's nothing there can do. When Steph hits that 3, Draymond gets that stop, Klay Thompson hit a 3-pointer, and now when Jordan Poole gets the ball and he has a nice play, it's very hard to overcome that. And it happened in the second quarter today. I mean, the second quarter, Mike Malone had 3 timeouts remaining in the second quarter. So he had to use 4 timeouts. That means, number one, I'm not going to say he's getting out coached. But the strategy isn't working. He has to continuously get these guys ring in. Like right now, it's 89-107 with 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Like at this point, like there's no way they could come back because they don't have anybody with firepower who can create a run. It is what it is. And yeah, you know, and also I like the way I'm not gonna say Jordan Poole's the best player on that team, but Jordan Poole, I would say in 1 to 2 years, Jordan Poole is gonna be the best player on that team. He's gonna be the best player on that team. Mind you, the system is created because of Steph, Clay, and Draymond. But Jordan Poole, the way Jordan Poole is thriving off that, he's looking like their best player right now. Because even though there could be a season where Steph's not getting 25 a night, you're still going to guard Steph as soon as he steps past half court. And you're still going to keep 2 sets of eyes on Steph, whether he has the ball in his hands or not. That's just how it's going to go. And Jordan Poole is thriving off that. So, I think with that, they're going to be a very hard team to beat in the playoffs. Yeah. If you ask me at this point, they might get to the Western Conference Finals. I didn't think they were going to get to the Western Conference Finals. But the way they're playing, the way they're playing right now, they're playing outstanding. I didn't expect for them to pick up and go like this. Because remember, Clay, Dre, and Steph haven't played in 2 years together in a game. So now is where they get to consistently do it. And also, Steph is playing well when he's coming off the bench because he messed up his ankle. So his minutes restriction is still there. So when that gets alleviated, it's going to be very interesting to see what Steve Kerr does with Jordan Poole. If you ask me, I think you have to start Jordan Poole at this point. I think at this point, you run that starting lineup of Steph, Clay, Dre, Jordan Poole, and Wiggs at this point. I think Kevon Looney has to run out the lineup because I think Jordan Poole solidified his spot in that starting lineup. But other than that, let's get to the next series. Okay, so this series has some potential, but it has potential to be I wouldn't say a disaster, but it could get ugly real quick. In Phoenix and the Pelicans. Phoenix started out strong yesterday when they played them. New Orleans, I believe they said New Orleans shot like 20% from the field in the first half, which that's like unheard of. But I mean, game 2, they'll probably fix that up. You know, game 1 jitters, that's always a thing for everybody. Game 1 jitters, it always happens. Now you just look at game 2 and above. That's when the series really starts, when like game 2, game 3 hits, because that's when the adjustments get to go and set. And yeah, I mean, can New Orleans actually pull off the comeback? Not the comeback, but the upset. There's a chance of it. But CJ and Ingram would have to combine for 50 plus without playing your turn, my turn. Meaning with that, it's not you get the ball, you do your work. Next possession, I get the ball, I do my work. They have to get it in the flow of the offense, meanwhile getting all the other guys involved as well. There is a chance of an upset if Joel Valanciunas can play solid. I know yesterday he had around 21 rebounds with like 16 points. He didn't shoot the best from the floor. I believe he shot like 7 of like 19 from the floor. If he could shoot like 10 of 17 and have 20 points and have 15 rebounds and give Aiden some problems, because he's giving Aiden some problems. Because Aiden now has to guard a big man who can stretch the floor and also do the same what he can in terms of just dominate the paint and grab rebounds as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. It's gonna be very interesting to see how Ingram can get set in this. I think Ingram is gonna be due for a game where he goes nuclear and has around a 40+ outing, a 40+ point outing. But it's gonna be very interesting to see how it goes. And also Devontae Graham is gonna have to play at a solid level as well. But the X factor of this series is, if the X factor is Jonas Valanciunas, because CJ McCollum, even though CJ McCollum had a relatively rough night yesterday, CJ McCollum is still going to score the ball. He's going to hit timely shots. When you need him to get a bucket, he's going to get you a bucket. Same thing for Brandon Ingram. So those guys are the vocal points of the defense. The defensive adjustments that Phoenix is going to be making is based off how CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram are playing. So Valanciunas has to be able to hold his own weight, stay efficient, and kind of like the same situation what I said for Vucevic in Chicago. Valanciunas has to establish himself in the paint and establish his role to free up the floor for CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram as well. New Orleans has a bright future. If they had Zion, Phoenix would be in trouble. If they had Zion, Phoenix would be in trouble. But we don't even know if Zion wants to be there. Video coming soon, possibly on that. And yeah, that's really about it for this playoff series. I mean, in terms of Phoenix winning the series, Phoenix just has to play how they've been playing the whole season. Just play good basketball, get everybody involved, and just Chris Paul and D-Book both play at a high level and have DeAndre Ayton play as well. DeAndre Ayton play at a high level, get his 18 and 12, have Jokic got ejected. There you go. There you go. I told you I was finna have a meltdown. I told you. Did I not just say that? Did I not just say that 5 minutes ago? Alright. I'm just chatting, I guess. Alright. But yeah, Phoenix just has to be playing the basketball they were playing all year. Let D-Book be the first option. Chris Paul does his job facilitate and get everybody else shots. When it's his time to step up, he steps up. Have Ayton get his 18 and 10. And then other than that, that should be a series for them to win. But it is a series to lose though. I just hope Phoenix doesn't. I think at this point Phoenix isn't gonna look at New Orleans as pushovers based off last year, just how the way they lost. I think Phoenix is locked in, so I don't really see them losing this series. But I for sure think New Orleans can take 2 games. I think they can take 2 games and push Phoenix to 6. At the lowest, I think New Orleans should be able to at least win 1. I don't see Phoenix sweeping them at all. I don't see this series to be that drastically bad of a matchup, or they're drastically that outmatched. But yeah, man, this is gonna be the end of the video. If you made it to this point of the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment your thoughts in the comment section. How do you think these playoff series are gonna match up? Do you think, are there gonna be any upsets? Do you think Memphis is gonna beat Minnesota? Do you think Minnesota is gonna go for the complete upset and possibly sweep Memphis? Like I said, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. And yeah, man, by the way, all those things are free. They don't cost a dime. And yeah, man, I'm out, bro.